Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends fan channel exclusive Punisher War Machine. Here we have Punisher in his War Machine armor displayed in the front window along with all of his accessories. Then down there at the bottom we can see the War Machine with the Punisher name over top of it. On the side we do have some artwork there of Punisher in his War Machine armor, and that is going to be the same artwork on both sides. On the back, we get a promotional shot there of the figure looking off and getting ready to fire his shoulder cannon there. And then we do have the read-up. After the fall of War Machine, Frank Castle acquires the highly weaponized armor and makes it his own. And then down at the bottom, you do have the UPC code, so you can check with your local retailer to see if they have this in stock. But enough about that. Let's get this open and take a look at Punisher. And here is Punisher War Machine outside of his packaging. And Hasbro could have used three different sources of inspiration to create this figure. The first being how the figure was drawn in most of the covers for the Punisher series when this was going on, which really looked just mostly like a War Machine with a Punisher logo painted on the chest. Didn't have a whole lot of extras to it or anything like that. The in-book artwork was War Machine with a lot of white panels, like on the legs and on the arms, and then the skull still on the chest, but a lot different looking than he did in the cover art. And then the version that they did go with is the artwork that was featured on the inside cover of the books, where it was given like the synopsis of the story, and he had this armor. He had the 000 on it. He had like the little skull counters there. And you'll notice that this is the same artwork that is on the side of the box as well. So clearly that is the inspiration for this particular design of the figure. So it works. It's even been touted as a Gamerverse figure, even though it doesn't have that official tag or the box for it. Now, since this figure is based on the Civil War War Machine figure, 100% based on it, it comes with the exact same accessories that we got with that figure, which is to say that we do get a shoulder cannon, which looks pretty good. It actually has a little bit of blue on the end there, so it helps break up the design a little bit there with some color. Then we do get the stun baton, which also has the blue on the inside. And of course, the stun baton was featured mostly in the Civil War airport fight scene. And then both of those accessories have a collapsed version that you can put in the shoulder mounts so that it looks like he has his weapon stowed away. Then he does come with these two wrist-mounted weapons that basically just plug into the bottom of each of the forearms. And those can actually be stowed away and put on the legs as well if you wanted to. And then inside the box, he is going to come with a pair of gripping hands. So if you had any extra weapons and you want this version to maybe hold a pistol or a rifle, you can actually do that. And then he also comes with a pair of fisted hands. Now, when standing straight up, this figure is coming in at 6 1/4 inches tall, which makes him about 15.9 centimeters. So it could be a little bit taller. That wouldn't have been the worst, just because it is a guy in armor, but it's still that bulky body mold that still looks like it is a guy in armor, so I am okay with that. But since this is a fan channel exclusive, it does not come with any Build-A-Figure pieces or anything like that. It just came with the accessories that we already looked at. So let's go ahead and just jump in and take a look at the paint and sculpt work here on the Punisher War Machine. And getting up close here, we got a pretty decent looking War Machine sculpt, and it is the same sculpt as I mentioned though to the Civil War War Machine, but for the first time ever, it looks like my eyes actually came out painted correctly. They're actually where they're supposed to be, so that is actually encouraging that I actually have paint that looks really good on the face there. Looking at the rest of the body, so we get, of course, the classic Punisher skull there on the chest, and it does have some weathering, looks a little beat up and things like that, but otherwise it's a pretty clean-looking skull, and that's actually kind of my gripe. Real quick, just to throw back, that is the custom one that I made where I made the skull on it. You can see the video if you wanted to, but I kind of like the more rough-looking skull than the well-painted skull. But again, the promotional art that this is based on, it is a clean skull. We get the 000 there, so I don't know if that's supposed to be a unit number. Typically it denotes the Mark 1, Mark 2, and so on, unless this is supposed to be a prototype War Machine armor. The little skulls came out pretty good, but you can see they didn't have enough fine detail to get the teeth. but that's okay. You're really not going to get this close. And then same thing on the leg. Don't have the teeth on there either. But again, the finer details of that aren't really necessary. One cool thing I do like that they did throughout is you have a few spots here and there that do show some weathering, which I think is actually pretty cool. We get on like the elbow pads there, on the back of the shoulder. We get a lot of them on that one. And back of the arm, this back here. I mean, all over the place. So it does look really good on the knee pads. Yeah, we get that weathering. I like that. It looks really good. Now, looking at the articulation, before I do that, I have some blue on my hands. I was doing yard work, spraying some herbicide that had dye in it, and the dye got on my fingers, so please ignore the blue all over my thumb and everything. But anyway, looking at the articulation, the head could go all the way around, but it's going to get impeded by the shoulders there, so that is a little bit of a disappointment. Can look down that far, can look up, yeah, not much. And I should mention the shoulder cannon, when you put that on, you do have some articulation with that, so the shoulder cannon can look up and down, and it does have some swivel as well. Now looking at the arms, they can actually come up quite a ways there. Not going to be impeded. It looks a little funky, but it's not going to be impeded by that, so that is good there. You do have bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, then you do have a rotation and a hinge on all the wrists, but just be aware that this piece here is going to be stuck. And I almost forgot to mention too, we get a little bit of the blue on that blaster on the forearm, so that's kind of cool. He does have a diaphragm joint that can go all the way around without snagging, but it doesn't have a whole lot of crunch forward or backwards, but you do get a little bit of side to side, not much. And then the paint does continue though if you do go back. So legs do not come apart hardly at all. That is one of the biggest things about this sculpt. They don't go forward very much. They actually go backwards further than they go forward, I think. So that is going to be one of the biggest downsides to this sculpt, is those hip joints. You do have a upper thigh cut, double jointed knee. Then you do have a hinge and some swivel, but it does get blocked there by that piece. And that is going to do it for this review, everyone. So overall, I mean, it's a good figure, and obviously I liked the concept enough that I made this custom some time ago, but I still kind of like the idea of it feeling more like a pirated piece of equipment that Punisher had to, just slap some paint on it to give him his skull, versus this one over here that has, stamped on there and everything like that, looking all clean and everything. I'm not saying that my figure is better than the official Marvel Legends. I'm just saying it's different. I actually might add some of the weathering and stuff that they did, though, do some dry brushing or something on some of those edges. But overall, obviously I expected this when I made this custom. I figured that the War Machine sculpt was going to be the best sculpt for it. At the time when I made that video, we didn't even have the newer War Machine, but I don't think that would have worked. I think you needed this body sculpt, or at least a new one that would have been very similar to that. But with that being said, I do like this figure. I think it's worth picking up. Obviously, I did like it enough, like I said, to make a custom. So, I mean, it's a good figure, and I think it's a cool representation. That series where Punisher takes the War Machine armor is awesome. You should definitely check that out. But anyway, as I'm rambling, that is it for this review. Make sure to hit that like button if you like it. Subscribe for more content just like this. Aside from that, thanks for watching my video, and have a great day.